you all for joining us this morning as we reflect upon and remember those we lost on 1 October. This is always an emotional day for all of us, for the family members who lost their loved ones, for the thousands of survivors, for the first responders, and for our entire community. If you would, please indulge me for a moment. I would like to take a moment to introduce some of the guests here on stage. First and foremost, I'd like to introduce you to the former sheriff of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department and now governor of the great state of Nevada, Joe Lombardo. And the first lady of the state of Nevada is hiding out here in the audience, but Donna Lombardo as well. Welcome. Also, the chairman of the Clark County Commission, Commissioner Jim Gibson. Commissioner Marilyn Kirkpatrick. Commissioner Tick Sigerbloom. Commissioner Michael Naft. Out in the audience, I don't know where they went here just a minute ago, but Secretary of State Cisco Aguilar is right down here in front. The Assistant Special Agent in charge of the FBI, Ray Johnson. I think he's hiding over there. The U.S. Marshal for the state of Nevada, Gary Schofield. And a huge friend and partner during this event, the Clark County Fire Chief, John Steinbeck. Where are you at, John? Somewhere. All right. If you would, please stand if you are able for the presentation of the colors from the Southern Nevada Multi-Agency Honor Guard. In my opinion, the best honor guard in the country, followed by the national anthem performed by these beautiful young folks in front of me, the Academy Singers. Honor Guard.
So proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red clouds bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
Thank you, Honor Guard. Please remain standing for the invocation from our chaplain, Dean Sanner. Dean?
Let's pray this morning. God, we thank you for this day, and we need your presence. We ask for you to be here over every aspect of this ceremony today as we reflect and as we remember. We remember some difficult things today, but we also remember the healing stories that are being told. And you are a God of hope. You take what the enemy meant for evil and you use it for our good, and we thank you for that. And Lord, today we thank you for the inspiration that you've given our governmental leaders and our community to be able to provide places of healing like the Healing Gardens, the Resiliency Center, and the other opportunities for healing that are coming forward. And Lord, we thank you that our community has risen in unity to overcome and to walk in victory. Lord, many people walked through the valley of the shadow of death that night, but you have told us we don't need to fear evil, for you are with us. Your rod and your staff, they comfort us, and we thank you for the hope. We thank you for the resiliency that you bring to each of us. And finally, we remember the families, the victims, everyone that walked through that tragedy on that day. And Lord, although we don't get over trauma, we can get through it. And Lord, with your help today, we know that you can bring hope and healing to every family member that still grieves and walks through those difficult times, because you are a God of hope. And as sure as the sun rises every day, your promises are true. Lord, thank you that you can bring us victory and that we can walk in your power today. In the name of our Lord and Savior, amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. It's a powerful prayer. Please take your seats. It is now my honor and privilege to introduce to you the man who was leading the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department during this event, an absolute rock for our community and our police department, and now the governor of the great state of Nevada. Help me welcome Governor Joe Lombardo.
Before we proceed, I think it's a little weird to give a chaplain a round of applause, but if you saw he was in the wheelchair here, I think it's probably a good idea to give him a round of applause for that sermon. Well, good morning, everyone. 1 October, the senseless tragedy that took innocent souls, upended our lives, and devastated our community. As each year goes by, it doesn't get any easier to grieve the lives we lost. While it doesn't get any easier, we can take solace in the continuing strength and resiliency of the Vegas Strong community. In our time of greatest need, our community came together to grieve, mourn, and heal together. Now, 6 years since 1 October, I continue to be deeply touched and moved by the response of our community, LVMPD, and the strength of our friends and family. Today, in continuing our commitment to the Vegas Strong, we pause to honor the souls we lost. It is my fervent hope that today and every day forward, we will continue to carry the memory and legacy of those we lost in our hearts. May their memory always be a blessing. And thank you for being here today. Your presence and your support are irreplaceable. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. Before I start my remarks, I'd also like to just pause for a moment and acknowledge all of the family members sitting in front of us today. God be with all of you. Thank you. We come here every year because it is important for us to continue to help each other heal, to help each other be strong in those moments where we may feel overwhelmed in our grief, and to help each other remain resilient. On October 1st, 2017, I was your undersheriff, and I will never forget that my wife and I had taken our kids to a show on the Strip that evening, not far from the festival grounds. We had just gotten home when the first calls of the shooting came in. I called now Governor Lombardo. We decided where each of us was going to go, and I rushed immediately to the command post. My wife, who also worked for the department at the time, went to the headquarters, and we, like all the other first responders, began the never-ending work of quelling the violence and beginning to try to take care of our victims and survivors. That night forever changed us all. It was like living a nightmare, and it left many with scars, both emotional and physical. Metro, as an agency, has changed. We lost an officer that night, Charleston Hartfield, who was there to enjoy the concert with his wife. Many of our officers were working the concert who rushed into danger and today are still dealing with their own scars. So all of my call takers and dispatchers who answered thousands of calls for help that night. But we as an agency learn lessons out of tragedy to help keep our community and all who visit our city safer in the future. We built the Joint Emergency Training Institute so that police, fire, and medical can train together in ways that we never have before, with the ultimate goal to save lives. And we, as a community, learned how important it was to lean on each other, friends and strangers, to begin the healing process and to become Vegas strong. 6 years later, we cannot forget those moments of resilience in the face of unspeakable tragedy. I want you to remember how we looked out for each other, how we helped each other. We lifted each other up through the darkest of times. That is what remains with me to this day, the love of our community. Every year we gather to remember, and in the coming years, the permanent 1 October memorial will be built to make sure the world remembers this as well. There's a number of folks that served on that committee that are sitting out here that ended up with the final design that went through a lot of trial to get this right. Would you all please stand and be recognized? Thank you. The memorial will celebrate the lives of the loved ones who are no longer with us, and it will remind us of the light they left behind to help us remain Vegas strong. It's now my distinct honor to introduce you to the chairman of the Clark County Commission, Commissioner Jim Gibson. Sir?
Thank you, Sheriff McMahill. 6 years ago, all of us in this valley, all of you, many of you, even in your homes, learned of a horrible and an unthinkable tragedy that afflicts us still and likely will afflict us in important ways as we go forward in life. We're here to support one another as we grieve over the losses suffered that night and over time as the reality of it all set in on us. But we're also here to celebrate the lives of those who were lost and to remember them. We came together and we come together each year and have up to this point done this annually to let those who were injured both physically and emotionally know that we support them too as they navigate that night's trauma and put their lives back together. A piece of each one of us was lost that night. We're here to thank the first responders and countless others who stepped forward and took on the shield of a first responder to provide support, strength, and safety to others. And it's tough to suffer through a loss like the one we experienced. With each passing year, we tend to lose a little more because our memories dim. We need to fight that tendency because the folks who were lost live on in our hearts, and the things that were lost live there also. It's a natural evolution of things, but it's important for us to remember that we can never forget what happened because of the incredible lessons that we learned that changed the community forever. We came together, as has been mentioned, as a single community. We brought light to places that were dark, comfort where there was affliction. We rose above the awful circumstances, and this community demonstrated that it is unique, one of a kind. The outpouring of love and support we received from one another and from across the country and from the world was noteworthy. The strength was here first, and it spread across the entire world. It is something that we're proud of. It's something that we still reach for and are nurtured by. It's important for us to remember what we saw and how we responded, because we each can model the example of love and support that we've seen and felt from others. And we can bring the blessings of association with one another with compassion and love and strength now and on into the future. And it isn't only that event. There are things that would tend to divide us. And we've developed the capacity to know we don't need to yield to the influence that would divide us. Now, we want those who have passed on to be remembered and those who have been left behind and future generations to know of the love that we felt as a community that day and of the horrors that we experienced because of the incredible lessons that we learned. Part of that recovery was the work that has been mentioned by the 1 October Memorial Committee. Thank you so much for the way that you conducted yourselves. My fellow commissioners and I have approved a permanent memorial called Forever One on the ground there adjacent to the boulevard, where we'll be able to erect an incredible remembrance that will bring healing and its influence into our lives for the rest of ever, and yet keep in front of the public for that same time the lessons that were learned and the experience that we had. I'm grateful for the approach that that committee took, the thoughtful and deliberate way that they acted. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, how are we going to live through this if it takes that long? We've got to get this going. And they taught me a lesson about being deliberate, about listening to everyone, about reaching out and finding what this community feels would bring real healing and real support and real strength to all of us, and in particular to those who suffered personal loss. I can't thank you enough. I want to thank the JCJ architecture firm for the inspirational design. It's an impressive accomplishment. I also want to thank the Community Strong Project. 3 women, Connie Long, Shauna Bartlett, and Brandy Lewis, and I have to say, and their husbands in all likelihood, raised for us $85,000 toward the construction, the design, and the work on that memorial. And Commissioner Kirkpatrick worked with those ladies and others to produce a festival here that actually took place here last year and helped them and us raise that money. Thank you so much. There will be more available on their website as we get into a fundraising effort over the next couple of years. Our work isn't done yet. We're working to establish or select a nonprofit organization that will oversee fundraising, construction, and maintenance of the memorial. And we have jumped the hurdle and are well on our way to the finish line with this incredible design. I want to encourage you to go into the Rotunda Gallery to my right. The exhibit there has a model, storyboards, and information about the Forever One Memorial, as well as a selection of creative expressions that were submitted to the 1 October Memorial Committee as a part of its process for gathering ideas from the public for the memorial. I think that you'll find it meaningful and helpful in every way in great depth. So this is a day when we come together and we celebrate our love for one another and for those who suffer and those who have suffered and been lost. We celebrate the strength that we are as a community, and we celebrate a future that is bright, that if influenced by the things that we've learned, can make this community even stronger than we ever imagined, and we will need that as we go forward. Thank you so very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Commissioner. This morning, we also have the opportunity to learn a little bit more about one of the victims of 1 October, Angie Gomez, and we will hear from both her mother and father, Steve and Julia Gomez. Please come on up.
Well, good morning, all. Before we get started, I just want to let you know it's always nice to talk to a crowd where the podium is shorter than I am. So for those of you in the back, we are standing up if you can't see us. But no, we hope you are doing well these days. Again, my name is Steve Gomez. This is my lovely wife, Julie. And on behalf of the Gomez family, we would like to thank the city of Las Vegas, Clark County, for continuing to hold these sunrise services each year on the 1st of October to honor and reflect on the lives of the 58 amazing souls that were taken from us that day. I would also like to thank Eric Papa for inviting us to join in the celebration today and just be here and share our story about our daughter, our baby girl, our angel. We do believe that you will all agree with us that what happened on this day changed the lives of many people, including ours. We became members of a club that we didn't volunteer for. We became a statistic in American history. Although we are here at the 6th year anniversary, I can tell you that the pain is just as strong today as it was back then. And we know that we will never get over this. However, we will get through it together. Julie and I believe that things happen for a reason. We met in 1995, and we knew at that time it was meant to be. We each brought in 2 kids to the marriage. Julie had a son and a daughter, Chad and Tawny. I had a son and daughter, Jeremy and Tony. Thus, we have our blended family of 6. In the early years of our marriage, while Julie was sure she wanted another child, I wasn't so sure. I was far from it. Our son asked Julie, "Mom, why do you want another kid? We have 4. Isn't that enough?" So we left it up to God to decide whether we would be blessed with another child. And so it was. On December 26, 1996, we were blessed with the birth of our angel, Angela Christine. Christ angel, as she was born the day after Christmas. I must admit, we've been lucky and blessed to have raised 5 amazing young kids who are successful. They live on their own. They're showing kindness and compassion to others. Since day one, when we got together, our kids never thought of themselves as half brothers, half sisters, step brothers, step sisters. They considered themselves as brothers and sisters, as mom and dad did. That day, on December 26th, 1996, was one of the best days of our lives. Angela was the Christmas bow that kept our family together. However, that bow is now missing, but we are still together. Besides being born as a special baby, she was a short, round bundle of joy, weighing 8 pounds, 6.5 ounces, 19 inches. And I'll tell you, for having 2 short parents, that girl was big. The first nurse, the nurse that came in this year first says, "Oh, what a cute little big baby." In fact, she had loads of rings of fat. Well, I can say you can literally hide quarters in her rolls. You know, most kids in our neighborhood have piggy banks to store their change. Our kids had Angela. So, she was a delightful, calm child from the beginning throughout her whole life. She was special. She just knew how to do things right. We knew she had a good sense of humor. At such a young age, she had a really good sense of humor. One of her teachers at her nursery school invited her to be in her wedding at the age of 4, to be her flower girl. So as we're all sitting at the wedding, Angela walks down the aisle. She's at the altar with all the bridal team, and she turns around and looks to see if she can find us. She looks around the entire church and spots us. She then has a big ear-to-ear smile, which tells us she's going to do something. So she gets her bouquet of lavender flowers, puts it on top of her head, turns around and smiles and looks at us, hoping we would laugh. Well, we did laugh, as the whole church did laugh. So that was her sense of humor. Just, it can be on at any time. During our family river trips, to get the laughs going on the water, Angela would start off by saying the alphabet. However, she wouldn't say it. She would burp it, A to Z, in one single breath. And that was talent. Now, I admit that's not the most best behavior for a woman to do, and I take full responsibility for allowing that, but only on the river. That was our family thing. And while in preschool, the director of her school and the teacher were very surprised on how Angela put together jigsaw puzzles. Most of us start around the edges. We start and go in. Angela would start in the center of the puzzle and work her way out to the edges, and that's how she did it. She always did things in 3 steps or 3 phases. First time would be to do it. The second would be to remember it, and just remember it piece by piece. Third time would be to complete it as fast as she can without putting the piece in the wrong spot. She also did this with all the TV shows and movies she watched. She would watch a movie one time to watch it, second time to memorize it, line by line, third time to repeat it, line by line, to this end. There was times when we were watching a movie as a family, we'd end up watching Angela instead of the TV, because she was saying everything before the TV was. So that's her memory she had, and her little sense of humor. One thing, our family, we love the sitcom Friends, and who doesn't love Friends, right? Angela, at a young age, was watching it, not knowing what it was all about, and of course, she memorized every episode of every season. You can throw a line of Friends out there, and she would tell you what episode it's from, what season, the name of the episode, what the disc it's on, and she would repeat the entire line to the next scene. That was Ange, that's what she did. And Angela, of course, she was always friendly. This young lady, she had a beautiful soul. helpful, kind, and loving to anyone whose path she crossed. She was a happy, content child, always with a smile and a hand to hold. She did always make time to show how she cared for people and animals, no matter what. She loved everyone and everything. That was in her blood. We hear so many stories from those who said she made a mark on their lives and on the world, just being a caring person and being there for someone. One lady we ran into, she was an intern at a law office here in Riverside, and she remembered meeting Angela and how she made a difference in her life. While they were in elementary school, Angela was assigned to be her reading buddy. And this young lady remembered that Angela immediately picked nicknames for them, Big Me and Mini Me. And she just remembered how Ange inspired her throughout her educational journey. She remembers how special Angela made her feel. And that's what Angela would do. She would find someone in a crowd or even at school that wasn't having a good day, and she would separate from her friends to go to this individual and sit with them just to make them feel better. Each time when she was when she was a mic tech and a stage tech for Riverside Children's Theater, before each production, she would look around the cast and see who was struggling with stage fright. She'd grab these kids all together, set them aside, and tell them, you're good, you're amazing, you got this, you got this. Go out there and have fun. And they would go out there and they would do it, and they would come off and they'd thank her just for being there for them. And also, Angela, she also studied and learned dancing at the dance studios in Riverside, whereby she did 11 performances for Riverside Children's Theater. She was a high school cheerleader, volunteered in the community, and gave back to the community she loved. And for being at such a young age, she was involved in this at the age of 14, where she just wanted to give back. And that's what she wanted, to give back. She didn't waste any time after graduating from high school. She jumped right into summer school, fall classes, spring, and that was her first year in college. She also took an additional class to obtain her certified nursing certificate. She wanted to be a registered nurse at a children's hospital where she can help children with life-threatening illnesses. That was her goal. And she got her first job at a recovery hospital the week before the concert. She was so excited. She worked there for 4 days. And unfortunately, she never got this year first check. We cashed it. We didn't keep it, we cashed it, we gave it away. But that was she just loved it. She was happy to have this job. And her first real job. And so she had plans to marry her high school sweetheart. As a matter of fact, the day of the concert, he proposed to her. So that they had their plans to get married. Their house, they knew they were going to live. They were planning for kids, and she had her life in order at the age of 20. And I'll be honest, when I was 20 years old, I was not in order. But at such a young age, she had it in order. And as we look back at pictures as Xander was growing up, Julie and I noticed that she always had there was always a white beam, either to the right of her, on her head, behind her, on her shoulder, or somewhere close to her was a white beam of light, only on her. We lost a true angel on earth that day, October, because she was just too young. She was too young. And I believe God spared her from all the evil, from seeing all the evil that is working triple time to take over us now. He spared her. That's why she's with him. God's plan. We learned firsthand on that day that there was true evil in this world. Rather than live in fear and anger, which we could have done. We chose love. That's why in her honor, we, the Gomez family, our friends, the community of Riverside, we created a foundation in her honor to continue and carry on her legacy and keep her memory alive. It's called the Angela Christine Gomez Memorial Foundation, also known as Angela's Wishes. We've always been strong believers that if you give back to the community will give back to you when needed. And our community proved that to be true. They gave back to us with a lot more. No, I didn't. And that's one thing, we give back, and that gets us through our days. And our mission in her honor is to promote love and kindness. We do random acts of kindness just to make someone's day better, make someone feel good. And we donate to the causes that she so much cherished. We hold a toy drive each year where we collect toys throughout the community. We donate them to the Children's Hospitals of LA and Orange County. We also donate them to a homeless shelter called the Path of Life Ministries in Riverside, whereby they bring in homeless parents and they get to pick a gift for their kids. They let them wrap it so their kids can have a present to unwrap on Christmas Day. And I'll tell you, to see the eyes on these kids when they open up a present, just one present, that's all they want. And to see the look on their face, that's priceless. You can't ask for anything more. It's heartwarming. And in addition to that, we partnered with the Mary S. Roberts Pet Adoption Agency in Riverside, California. We donate service dogs for a program that they have for service dogs that take to hospitals and help people suffering from PTSD. It's a big help because we were told the first time they took these animals in, this gentleman hadn't talked in 4 months, and when the dogs came in, he talked, he smiled, he laughed. So it does work. And in Angela's honor, they named the program after Angela, which was very, very special. It's called Angela's Healing Hearts Pet Therapy Program. And that was special to us. And in addition to these, we grant 2 scholarships to 2 nursing students at the Riverside City College who are enrolled in the nursing program where Angela was studying to be a nurse. We grant a scholarship to a graduating senior from Riverside Poly High School, where Angela graduated from, a scholarship to the cheerleading squad to assist a freshman with the cost for uniforms and cheer camp. As we all know, that gets very costly and pricey. And every year we donate to the microphones and makeup to Riverside Children's Theater for each of their 2 productions. Those are all given in perpetuity, and it will always continue on when we're no longer here. And that's the purpose of that foundation, to give and share that love and give back to our community. Angela's Wishes was obtained approval from the city of Riverside and the mayor, Rusty Bailey, to commission artists for a mosaic tile mural of Angel's Wings. It's located on the exterior building of Mario's Restaurant in downtown Riverside, right across from the renowned Mission Inn. If you've ever been to Riverside, the Mission Inn is very famous for their lighting ceremony at Christmas time. The mural is called Angela's Wings. We dedicate it to the city and to all 58 angels who were taken in too soon that horrible day. We've got a plaque that has every angel's name and birthday on there. And that was our way to give back to people to help them heal. It's a photo op. Go there, make someone smile, take a picture, just for a good feeling. And it's a very popular photographed area. That's one of the most alleys that's photographed in California because of the Mission Inn faces right across the street. The message we want to impart is always be kind and spread love. If we can live life as she did, always with genuine kindness, concern and compassion for others, the world would be a much better place. In Angela's own words, no matter how your life goes and ends, as long as you live your life well and you are loved and you loved in return, you will always have peace with that. You should always live like each day is your last. Angela knew she was loved. She knows she's still loved. She gave all that love back and more. Her philosophy on life at such a young age was live and let live, love and let love. Ange, mija, we know you are in a much better place. We know you are good. And we will see you soon, sooner than later. I'm going to now turn this over to my amazing wife, Julie, here, and she'll say a few things.
Thank you. Oh, man. I wish you would talk that slow at home, because usually at home you talk so fast I can't understand anything. So Steve said, we will see you again soon. We will see you again, baby. We believe that. Of course, if you agree with this as well, or if it is your belief that this is the only life we have and that's it, one thing is for sure. At least 60 million people have had an ADC, or an after-death communication experience. They say their departed loved one appears to them in their dreams, or they can feel their touch, or they may smell the scent of their cologne or perfume. Or sometimes little tricks will get played, like lights will flicker and a picture will fall off the shelf. Some people say the radio stations change, and then they hear their favorite song. Many times their departed loved one is playing tricks on them to remind them of the fun times. But studies have been done, and some researchers have concluded, in many cases, the message being sent is offering love, comfort, and reassurance to the living that they're okay, and that those left behind need to move forward in their life. Yes, we need to live. There's some people here today that may remember in the beginning, very shortly after that horrible day, there was a message going through on the Facebook survivor page, and it was somebody trying to get a hold of our family. This woman reached out to the Route 91 survivors community, because she said she was asleep and somebody came to her in her dream. So she woke up to Angie sitting next to her on her bed. And she said, "Oh my gosh, you can see me?" And the young lady said, "Yes, I can see you." And she said, "Oh, could you please tell my family that I'm okay and I love them?" And she said her name was Angie. So the young lady, she searched, on the internet, and she looked up all the people that had passed away. She saw Angie's picture. She said, Angela Gomez. And she said, "Oh my God, that was her." So we got sent this message because, she was hoping that she could bring us some comfort, and that it would bring some sort of comfort, knowing that Angela tried to reach out and tell us that she was okay. And that does sound exactly like something she would do. Sometimes the departed loved one may send symbols like a butterfly or bird, rainbow, something like that, flowers, imagery associated with love and happiness. And for me personally, it's hummingbirds. And it's not just a hummingbird that comes in our yard, man. This hummingbird, like, sometimes flies right in my face. But, one time I kind of talked to it, and I said, "Oh, hey, little birdie. You're so cute. You're so little." And then it's just like looking at me, and I'm like, "Is that you, Ange?" She said, and so I said, "If it's you, show me a sign." And the bird, I'm not kidding you, the bird gets up off the perch, hovers right there, does a little twirl, and then landed back on the branch. And I was like, whoa. And of course, nobody else was there to see it, so of course, I'm probably crazy for saying it, but
No.
anyway, they do send us signs that she does send us signs that she's near. And that makes us feel better and to know that we will see her again someday. And she's comforting us, loving us, and helping us, guide us to choose love. So I'm going to give it back to you.
Thank you, hon. That was very good. Thank you. Very good. Yeah, speaking of like little signs, we all have them, and they're really good. Matter of fact, I'm getting goosebumps right now. And usually when I get goosebumps, I know Angela's here with us. It's just I get that cool breath of air that just goes right through me, and that's a good sign. And as we were driving in yesterday, Angela, at the young age of 2, she loved the movie Titanic. How she knew what was going on, I have no idea, but she loved the theme song, My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion. So here she is at 2 years old. We're driving around in this huge van to carry our clan around in, and she's in her car seat, and that song comes on, and she's in her car seat, and she would hum that song as it's playing to the T, and she looked like a little goldfish in the back of the van, because she's with her mouth looking for food and just humming that song. And if you could see her face, it was funny. And so that was, as we're driving in yesterday, as soon as we start coming down the hill into Prim, that song comes on. And Julie and I look at each other, okay, Ange. And that song was on until we got to the bottom of the hill, and it ended. And that gave us our little calm before we hit that last stretch to Vegas. So when we drive out here, we get a little anxious, and the anxiety gets high once we get past Prim. That gave us that little calm to get us here, and that was our sign. Yeah, I'm with you guys, Dad, Mom, I'm here. So here we are 6 years later. From then to now, full circle. In closing, I'd like to say to all the parents out there, all the parents to be, and everyone else that's here, join us today. Please, don't hold no grudges. Try not to. Make someone's day that much better if you can. Even smile. A smile goes a long way these days. As we've all witnessed and know, tomorrow isn't promised, nor is it guaranteed. Life is just too short. So hold each other close. Always hold your children even closer. Remind them, your children, that's how important they are to the family, to your world, our world. And always, always let them know how much you love them. That's important to kids, to know that they're loved. We would, again, like to thank all of you for your time here today, for your support, and the love that we've received over the last 6 years. It's amazing. There was a lot of love, and there still is a lot of love out here. And we want to thank all of you for that, because that makes us get through our days easier. It makes the day easier. So again, thank you. And there is a lot of love out there. Give it, share it. You have a great day and have a blessed day today. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve and Julie, for sharing that beautiful story. Wish I had a memory like Angie did, I could tell you that. And you've inspired me also that the next time I come down to Riverside, we're going to stop by and see her wings as a family. So thank you very much. Now we have a special treat with country singer Pat Dalton, who's going to perform for us. He himself is a survivor of the 1 October shooting. And Pat will perform his song, Forever Family and Amazing Grace. Pat?
Let me thank all the families and all my fellow survivors. I see you all the time every year, and a lot of you much more, but thank you so much, and I'm so honored to be a part of the Route 91 family. Many of you may know the significance in the name Route 91. Some of you may not. Route 91 ran from Long Beach, California to Canada. Went right through the California desert, straight down the Las Vegas Strip, Arizona, Utah, Idaho, up to Montana, straight into Canada. Well, Route 91 still exists, but it's been renamed. And today we all know Route 91 as Interstate 15, the lost highway between here and LA. October night, harvest moon. We all came to sing, we all came to play, we all came together that day. You can move on and you can change the name. You can change the time and you can change the place. But we're still here and we will remain. And that night won't fade away. The memories we share, pain we bear, and we stand strong for the ones who've gone. way we feel and what we've become. Forever family, Route 91. You put away the crosses, you've turned the page. You can turn out the lights, but that won't change. 'Cause you can't erase what I've seen, and time stands still for me. The angels sang Amazing Grace. Let the tears roll down my face. We're still here and we will remain. And that night won't fade away. The memories we share, pain we bear, we stand strong for the ones who've gone. The way we feel and what we've become. Forever family, Route 91. Forever family, Route 91. Thank you all so much, and I've heard from so many of the families about the songs that we do, and it's always really hard for me to do these, I have to be honest with you. And I feel it. I only play these songs once a year, and that's all I do. I don't do them for anybody else. I just do them for our family. So thank you all so much for supporting Route 91. How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Well, I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious then that grace appeared, the hour I first believed. It's shining as the sun. We've no less days to sing God's praise. And when we first begun, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Well, I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Thank you, Route 91. Thank you to everybody here on the stage for all you do for our family. Thank you.
Bodyguard! Uniform officers! Attend! Present! Up! Bodyguard! Uniform officers! Order! Up!
Sergeant Todd, would you please dismiss the honor guard?
Bodyguard! Right! Peace! All files in the front! Stand by! Right man, honor guard. By the right, forward, back.
Before we conclude, would you please join me in a round of applause for the Academy singers as well as our honor guard? Thank you very much. You were fantastic. I would like to thank everybody for coming this morning. As the Commissioner Gibson mentioned, please join us in the Rotunda Gallery where you can view the design of the permanent memorial that has been selected to honor the victims and survivors of 1 October. God be with you all. Thank you.